there is such a beauty in the fact that we are an intersectional movement, that we are focused on everything. We're focused on litigation, we're focused on climate justice, we're focused on the negotiations. But something that I'm really interested about right now as I'm studying this in school is the issue of communications, because I think that the climate crisis is a crisis of communication, and that gap that we have from actually telling the general public what the climate crisis is and what we can do about it. So I will be talking mostly about how movements develop, the power of language, what prevents us from acting so that we can get to the other side. And this is something that we employ in almost every single space that we go into, and I'm excited to share it with all of you. You know, we think in language, and if we change language, we change how we think.
When we think about where the world is today, there is a narrative, like, that we're all familiar with, that the planet has reached scary tipping points, right? That we've hit up against 1.5 degrees, and that we are seeing the consequences of climate change in ever escalating form. I think there's a counter narrative, though, that most people aren't aware of, that we're actually moving faster with solutions than we ever have, that are actually growing at a scale well beyond what most people are aware of, and that are responding to this climate crisis in ways that where we can see solutions emerge to this pressing environmental challenge.
Well, I'm really excited to be at the symposium again this year. I think there's so much to continue to unpack and to learn from each other as we get into 2024. And how did we get to these historically low levels of consumer trust is a pretty broad question unto itself. But I think it really boils down, especially with younger generations, to the commodification of sustainability. If we're just talking about low levels of consumer trust around perceived greenwashing or the sustainable cred or value of products and services, we really have seen a pretty savvy consumer group come up who have become much more well-educated about climate change, not just because the information is more widely accessible out there, but also because these are younger generations that are starting to see the physical manifestations of climate change.
We're seeing autonomous delivery of electric vehicles. We're seeing amazing emergence of electric vehicles, and demand management solutions enable us to manage those new demand centers without raising the price of electricity. We're seeing the rise of complete streets and modular development and building programs globally that are really transforming some of those things. And I'm seeing clearly embodied carbon standards emerging in multiple countries. And of course, heat pumps with and without thermal storage. Great stuff coming.